have nothing but love for him. But I'm going to knock him out respectfully, and you know, we can hug and kiss afterwards, specifically kiss.
Anthony Joshua's training camp ahead of his fight with Jake Paul is already in full swing, and this time it marks a major shift for him as he has changed his training setup. Joshua hasn't fought since his knockout loss in September 2024 and his subsequent elbow surgery, so this camp carries extra urgency. He's reportedly focusing on conditioning, technique drills, footwork, and ring craft while working with Alexander Usyk's coaches to enter the bout sharper and smarter. Joshua admits the change is significant. Training under a different camp has pushed him harder than before, both physically and mentally. He's using this time to rebuild his confidence, refine his strengths, and prepare seriously for what could be a high-stakes comeback. Anthony Joshua begins his mornings with intense ice baths to strengthen his body and speed up recovery throughout camp. The freezing water reduces inflammation, keeps his muscles fresh, and boosts mental resilience. Joshua believes these cold therapy sessions sharpen his focus and prepare him for the heavy training that follows later in the day. It's a strict routine that demonstrates his commitment to staying strong and fully prepared for the upcoming fight. Joshua trains in an environment built on discipline, precision, and constant refinement. Surrounded by experienced coaches whose methods emphasize sharp technique and strategic awareness, he approaches each session with purpose. His drills focus on tightening his offensive bursts and developing a defense that reacts instantly. Coaches closely monitor his rhythm, foot placement, and punch variations, pushing him to evolve beyond old habits. Ringside observers note how seriously he responds to every correction. Instead of relying solely on natural strength, he's working to improve his understanding of angles, distance, and counters. His movement grows more deliberate as he shifts between defensive slips and sharp counterpunch combinations. This camp is shaping him not just physically, but mentally strengthening the instincts required for the unpredictable moments that define heavyweight boxing.
You know, Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Alexander Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bit together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where, what you've just said then, Spencer, like, match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just
obviously, I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8-rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, well, I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Alexander Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder...
Eddie Hearn views this matchup with a deep sense of seriousness, fully aware of how much rests on Joshua's performance. He acknowledges that this upcoming fight carries consequences far beyond simple bragging rights. For Joshua, the result may shape the future direction of the later stage of his career. Hearn's clear defeat in a fight like this would raise serious questions about whether continuing is worthwhile. Yet despite the heavy implications, his confidence in Joshua remains strong. He believes Joshua's months of disciplined training have sharpened his focus and rebuilt his mental fortitude. From conditioning to sparring routines, Joshua has approached every part of camp as if a world title were on the line. Reports from inside camp describe a fighter performing with composure and renewed motivation. Even under pressure, Joshua continues to push forward, embracing the challenge instead of avoiding it.
Then that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. I mean, what was it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Teddy Atlas as well.
Teddy Atlas? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses. No.
Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up and beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Just lastly, you said as well that you told Nikisa that he was weighing 290 when you were negotiating. What impact did that have? Did you feel like they would have gone even lower if they knew he was weighing 265?
No, I mean, I don't think that when you're negotiating on a weight, there's not one promoter in the world that would tell the truth about what the weight of the fighter was, and Nikisa knows that anyway. So it wasn't like we were being clever, but they wanted him to come to 240. And it's just, don't forget, AJ's never made weight before. So all of a sudden, he's tried, he'd been in camp for, 2 or 3 weeks. And he's probably sitting at, 260, 265. And it's like, you got to make 245.
A major reason Joshua's confidence remains high lies in the level of sparring partners inside his camp. Footage shows him exchanging punches with high-level heavyweights who bring unique strengths and styles. Jared Anderson, known for explosive power and relentless pace, forces Joshua to stay sharp defensively. Anderson tests every reaction and punishes hesitation, keeping Joshua alert from the opening bell to the final second of each round. Frank Sanchez brings an entirely different challenge with his technical footwork and balanced movement. His ability to glide around the ring, slip punches, and counter with precision pushes Joshua to think faster and adjust strategically. These sparring sessions aren't just physical tests, they simulate elite-level competition. Each partner introduces pressures Jake Paul has never faced. The diversity in styles helps Joshua craft a complete approach built on timing accuracy and the ability to switch tactics instantly.
Paul's being dwarfed by these way bigger heavyweights like Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okoli. Okoli is like 6'4.5", 6'5", and these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", probably. So now Jake Paul is the one that's smaller. So first of all, I will give credit to Jake Paul. Clearly, he's a person who is taking his career seriously. These are quality sparring. I mean, a real boxer, because people say he's not a real boxer, but a real boxer would be using the same guys in their sparring camp. In fact, I just told you Joshua used Lawrence Okoli. I don't know if he sparred with Anderson or Frank Sanchez, but these are all regular ranked heavyweights. So credit to Jake Paul for that. And, I mean, he's going to need it. Joshua is a different breed to, like, a Mike Perry when it comes to boxing. Different frame, different size. In case you didn't believe me, right? Jake Paul, this is what MVP Promotions posted. So Jake Paul top sparring, right? Heavyweights. And here's some pictures of Joshua with Lawrence Okoli. And again, Joshua, a big dude, but you see Lawrence Okoli, and he probably was cruiserweight back then. I mean, I don't know exactly when this picture was taken, but he's only like an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. And now, as he's moved up to the full heavyweight, he has filled out more. You see he looks even bigger than when he was a cruiserweight. Now, I got to research it, but I want to say I thought Lawrence Okoli